Hey, bro. Blue Galaxy stuff. By the way, you didn't have to apologize. I was trying not to blow you off, but so many moving parts with Blue Galaxy Delete, and especially the way I'm doing it, it's kind of chaotic. Um, like, even during collection, I'm bouncing back between mobile and PC because I can use PC to use FOE helper to see what's actually going to double, or not necessarily double, but like which eco is going to get finished special kits or whatever. So using PC for that, it's also really hard to collect Sun Havens on mobile, just because the box doesn't really align with the building. So if you try to tap on a Sun Haven, 50-50 chance you collect a Tree of Vitality. So I'm using PC for part of the collection and then switching back to mobile because during collection, what you guys don't see on your end is that every 4 or 5 levels of Blue Galaxy, I'm jumping into mobile, which is just a lot easier to make hardware changes. So store a building, right? Plan a building, store the building, get into messages, post the next spot. It's just so much easier on mobile, and then jump back into PC for the next cycle of bullshit. So I wasn't trying to blow you off. It's just very, my brain is like mush right now. So, what am I hitting? That's the question number one, and the process, because you did yours a little bit differently, and I know that you made plenty of forge point profit in the process. I'm kind of sort of breaking even. I mean, I'm probably losing. I definitely don't have a whole lot banked. I'm not hardcore like you. I'm probably losing, I don't know, maybe 1,000, 2,000 a day. For the most part, I'm breaking even, and after collection, I do try and bank at least some of my auto collect forge points just to kind of offset that. For now, I'm definitely losing forge points though. The end goal is ecos. That is correct, and I think that's worth the trade off. So I'd like to have 21 total, and I'll kind of show you my layout, how I've got that set up. I would like to have 21 total, which gets me up to 63% forge point boost, which is effectively having 3 Forgotten Temples planted at all times. And when I do finish this project, which should be pretty soon actually, but once this project is done, I can continue stockpiling my actual temples for the purpose of planning 6 or 7 of those simultaneously along with the eco boost that I'm getting. Does that make sense? So let's take like 57 steps back. Ecos. I have a hover green level 1, and it is a pain in the ass to print ecos. That's 5 fragments just for the base kit. So the gold and silver upgrade kits for those, I have to farm off the individual eco buildings, not from the main event building. Absolute pain in the ass to print ecos. I do want more of them, and I had started printing more like shortly after the event last year or whatever. I printed like 3 or 4 more, so I think I had 7 of them, and I definitely wanted more. But printing it off this hover green level 1 was just absolutely fucking miserable. And the problem with a high level Blue Galaxy is that even if I use all 15 of my Blue Galaxy charges on hover, along with 15 FSP, you're never going to break even. First of all, the cost of Blue Galaxy 150 to flip it and then double dip it to use 15 more charges is like, this thing at 100 forge points is times 15. That's 1,500 forge points, and the cost of Blue Galaxy is 28,000. It's not going to pay for the cost of Blue Galaxy level, so I was either running out of forge points or running out of FSP kits. That's the main limitation. I think you have the number 3 level, don't you? Today, Junior. I think you have. Yeah, you do. Bastard. So if I had a hover level 3, and my goal was ecos, I probably wouldn't have deleted Blue Galaxy, to be honest. I know that you deleted Blue Galaxy for other reasons, so the way that you're using it is effective for you. My singular focus is on hover green, ecos. If I had the hover level 3, I would have honestly never deleted Blue Galaxy, because the hover level 3 is literally producing 4 times what this is able to produce. And assuming you hit it with Blue Galaxy, it's producing 8 times what this is able to produce. Best case scenario, all 15 of my Blue Galaxy charges double this, and effectively what I'm doing is now harvesting an evergreen level 2, because I'm now getting 10 fragments, assuming that every Blue Galaxy charge doubles. I'm now harvesting a level 2, but still without the benefit of Blue Galaxy. So there is no possible way that I will ever be able to collect 20 fragments off of this collection. And that was really the limitation to me. It's like, I cannot use enough FSP kits and Blue Galaxy charges to actually make this hover level 1 viable. And I calculated out to like 6 or 7 months just hitting eco alone every single day to generate 6 more ecos, or hitting hover only. It would take me 7 months to generate 6 more ecos. And at the time I had 7 ecos planted. My goal was 20 for that even 60% boost, My goal was 20. So starting from 7, I needed 13 more. It's going to take me 7 months to print 6 of those. Fuck no. So the solution was to delete Blue Galaxy, and I planned it out in 3 phases. We're on to phase 2 now. So, delete Blue Galaxy, I stored fucking basically everything. I had stored all of my GDG towers, all of my Neo Colossus, which those are still stored. Most of my Yukis were stored. I didn't store the gold version just because it does give QI benefit. The level 10 Yukis don't give any QI benefit, but they're still pretty badass. There's a lot of population, a lot of forge points. I stored those. Stored basically all of my Neo stuff. Neo Aviaries. I have several more checkmates in inventory. Basically anything that didn't directly benefit QI in terms of actions or attack ability, or anything that didn't give FSP kits, was storable, in my opinion. So I gutted my city, dude. And phase number 1 was to plant Sun Havens. I had 23 of them planted. I've chipped it down. I think I have 12 left now. From today, though. I printed 7 more Jesters today just from the levels that we did. And on the Jester note, real quick, I have space for 4 more Jesters. So 1, 2, 3, 4 Jesters that I want planted. So at this point, I'm pretty much done with the Sun Haven project, thankfully, because that was really it really sucked. It tanked my attack ability because Sun Haven sucks. Like, I stored Eerie Coasters, Abandoned Asylum, everything. You name it, dude. If it didn't give FSP kits or QI boost, it got stored. In addition to that, I also stored a lot of stuff to plant buildings that give store items, which seems kind of fucking redundant. But I knew how much I would be abusing that in this process. So figured I'd get ahead of the 8 ball. The first time around when I deleted Blue Galaxy, I think I had like 13 FSP kits and 1 store kit. So I'm up to plenty of store kits now, and I'm going to keep them planted just so I can continue stockpiling them. But finished special, I'm up to 65, and have been abusing those throughout this process. So the idea with phase number 1 was to plant as many Sun Havens as I could. I was also hitting that little trailside smithy thing to generate more Sun Havens in the process. So I actually only had 21 Sun Havens to start this process. I used the first 10 levels of Blue Galaxy the first time around hitting trailside smithy in my BG cycle just to generate more Sun Havens. So phase number 1, the purpose was to, with 23 of them, you can go through about 3 or 4 levels of Blue Galaxy, So that burns up 4 levels of Blue Galaxy. If it doubles, cool. If it doesn't, whatever, I'm still going to get Jesters and just passively increase my total daily FSP collection. So I had 70, 75 Jesters, I think, when I started this process. I'm up to 115, maybe 120. So I've printed about 40 Jesters in 4 weeks, which is really not bad. 40 Jesters in 4 weeks, just to increase my total passive city collection with FSP. I've also printed 5 ecos, though. I was up to 8 when I deleted Blue Galaxy. I now have 13, right? I think I have 13. There's 7, 8, 9, 10, 13. Yeah, I got 13. So I printed 5 ecos in 4 weeks, and my original timeline, if you remember that, was 6 or 7 months to print 6 of them. I've printed 5 of them in 4 weeks, along with 40 Jesters, and have more FSP kits than when I started the process. So I would say it's working out pretty well. I am gonna keep, these are all placeholders for eco, and I'll kind of come back to that. I am gonna keep Sun Havens though, until I absolutely need to replace them. Eventually I do want more Yukis, but for now the Sun Havens, I don't mind having a surplus of Jesters in inventory. I've printed 45, but they're all planted, so if I ever get a bug in my ass and I want to do this again, it'd be nice to have another 30 of them just stored in inventory. These are the last 2 that I'll replace with Jesters immediately, though. So I only need 4 more Jesters to complete that. The rest of the Sun Havens can just sit there and be passively collected. I won't hit them with Blue Galaxy anymore after this, because there's no urgency to get those additional Jesters. I do want more, but I don't need to generate them right now, you know? So this is pretty cool, and I think you'll dig this. I have 8 locations for Eco. Like I said, I want 8 more, but I've actually already created those locations. So as I do go through these Blue Galaxy levels, as soon as I get enough Eco kits, I don't have to rearrange my whole city in between levels, you know, where it's like, okay guys, I'll be back in 2 hours. Let me fucking figure out where I'm going to put this Eco. I've already mapped out where all of these will go, and it's actually kind of a cool system, because the placeholder for the next Eco is a thing that generates FSP kits. It's a thing that gives store kits, right? Bloop. A thing that gives FSP kits, a thing that gives store kits. Bloop. So until I actually generate those ecos, I have placeholders in those locations that are generating the 2 things that I'm gonna need in order to actually finish that project. Make sense? Let me put all this shit back. So in terms of what I'm actually targeting with Blue Galaxy, obviously Sun Havens, that's gonna account for, like I said, 3 or 4 Blue Galaxy levels. That's part of it. Ecos that give either the silver or gold upgrade kits, as well as completed ecos that give the finished special kits. Those are in the Blue Galaxy cycle. I'm also hitting, on the earlier levels, I'm hitting Shinto, Moogle, Yardasil, these Clover Runes, Escutcheons, because all those also give FSP. So on the earlier levels, I'm including those in the Blue Galaxy cycle. And then towards the higher levels, it's basically just Escutcheons only, because Escutcheon is guaranteed to give FSP, Moogle is guaranteed to give FSP, Yardasil is guaranteed to give FSP. Clover Ruin is 50-50 chance. So on the earlier levels, I don't mind burning Blue Galaxy charges on that. But on the higher levels, I prefer the consistency of just hitting something that I know is going to give FSP kits, and it's the highest quantity. So I stop hitting Moogle and Yardasil at that point. So it's one Blue Galaxy cycle of just hitting Escutcheons to generate extra FSP, and then the last 3, well, I guess another Blue Galaxy cycle hitting ecos that are that are giving the fragments that I want. If I need to burn a charge, I'll hit Moogle as well, or even Eternal Market. Eternal Market really isn't super high on my list of priorities in this project just because it doesn't give fragments for anything. It is a lot of forge points though, so I've just been dumping all the extra on my AO and my cat in this process because the cost of Blue Galaxy is like fucking 100 forge points, you know. So if I do have to burn a Blue Galaxy charge, hit Eternal Market, dump the forge points on AO, it works out. But then the last level is just 15 FSP charges applied to the hover. And I'm trying not to use those FSP charges on early Blue Galaxy levels just because the percentage is so low, which is why it was nice having Sunhaven kind of filler for phase 1 and the beginning of phase 2. Because I had 23 of them, so I didn't have to use FSP kits to harvest those fragments. I just have 23 individual buildings to hit, and if it doubles, cool. If it doesn't, whatever. Whereas if you're using FSP kits on hover with Blue Galaxy charges, it kind of stings if it doesn't double. It's like, damn, that was a waste of an FSP kit. I should have waited until Blue Galaxy level 50 to burn that. Does that make sense? Anyways, that's pretty much a wrap. Video is easier for me, and I communicate better that way too, versus trying to type this all out to you, because there's a lot of moving parts in this. I mean, I know that you're doing it for a different reason, but I also know that it's been a process for you. It's definitely not a quick and simple process. You know, there is a lot of moving parts in it, and if you're using Blue Galaxy to increase your forge point production, there's probably other variables that you're looking at in your city, like how you actually maximize your passive city forge point collection. There's a lot of moving parts in it, so I figured video would be a better way to explain my idea to you. Final thought though here, when it's all said and done, once I do finish my eco projects, this whole row of gestures, like I said, I only need 4 more to finish up the last little pair of Sunhavens here, you know. This whole row of gestures, though, is also paired with Nightmare Box. So 4 tall. And those are surplus gestures. That's more than I really want planted in my city. I do want a pretty healthy amount of gestures. I think they're the most consistent for FSP. Like Eco gives a bunch of FSP fragments when it actually hits, but it's not guaranteed to hit. So in terms of just passively collecting, auto-collect everything and getting a shit ton of FSP, Jester's pretty freaking reliable. So anyways, after the Eco project is done though, this whole top row of Jesters there is also going to get stored and replaced with more Yukis. I think I have, I don't know how many we can check. I've got probably 10 Yukis. I don't know, maybe 9 or 10 Yukis left. Yeah, 10. I like them for the forge points and the population. But for the here and the now, Jester is just a higher priority, because the more levels of Blue Galaxy that I can farm dedicated to hover itself instead of having to hit filler. You know, like hitting Sunhaven with Blue Galaxy is kind of a means to an end, but ultimately it is filler, versus just having a shit ton of FSP kits where it can go straight to hover. If it doubles, cool. If it doesn't, whatever. I've got 1,000 FSP kits and just blast through Blue Galaxy levels running it that way. You know what I mean? So ultimately, Sunhaven is a filler, but it definitely sped the process up. So now you know as much as I know, bro. I'll talk to you later. And thanks for jumping in, by the way, too. I appreciate that. I know it's a chore for you guys, because I know that it's a chore for you guys. But I appreciate you jumping in and helping me improve my game. So I'll talk to you later, brother. Bye.